Hi guys, I'm Amanda Etheridge, Senior Product Manager at Lifesize, here with a quick overview of the Admin Console. The Admin Console makes it easy to manage and customize your video conferencing experience across your entire organization to get the most out of your Lifesize service. When you first log in, you'll see the dashboard. Here, you can view your account data and activity by user or device in a variety of formats. From the menu, you can access the entire directory of users, room systems, and meetings associated with your Lifesize account. Click through and you can view contact and device information, edit settings, monitor real-time device status, and more. Selecting recordings from the menu allows you to access your complete library of cloud recordings. Recording speed is where all recorded meetings for your account are stored. My Recordings is the archive of recordings that you own. And Watch List is where you can save recordings to watch later. Now, let's take a look at account settings, where you have a variety of ways to customize your experience. Under General Settings, you can set the default language for your account, enable chat for users, and configure your meeting invites. You can also set recording and share permissions, decide how participants are displayed on screen, and apply chat integrations for Microsoft Teams and Slack. Device Settings is where you can enable email alerts to monitor room systems for any critical issues and choose a custom background for your conference room displays. In the remaining top menu options, you can review your account details, access useful downloads, and configure single sign-on for your account. For a closer look at the individual tools and settings available in the Admin Console, check out the other videos in this series, and be sure to follow us on social media for the latest features and updates. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, Amanda here to talk about the Lifesize Admin Console, which makes it easy to manage video conferencing across your entire organization while providing the tools and settings you need to customize the experience. Let's take a look at configurable meeting invites. With configurable invites, you can tailor meeting invitations to the specific needs of your organization, making it easier for users and guests to join the conversation. Here's how. First, log in to the Admin Console, then navigate to Account Settings. On the General Settings screen, scroll down and you'll see the Meeting Invites section. Here, you have multiple options that you can choose to show or hide in your invitations, including meeting passcodes, room system dialing information, a link to other ways to call, and if you have the add-on, you'll see the option to join the meeting from Skype for Business. As you toggle the options on and off, you'll see a real-time preview of your invitation in the box below. If audio conferencing is enabled for your account, you'll also see the phone numbers section, where you can add call-in numbers to invitations for users and guests. You can select up to 4 numbers from more than 60 countries and also show or hide a link to view additional phone numbers. Now you can provide users and guests with a full menu of calling options, or streamline the invitation to just a single meeting link. It's completely up to you. When you have your invitation just how you want it, click Update and start scheduling. To learn more about the Lifesize Admin Console, check out the other videos in this series, and be sure to follow us on social media for the latest features and updates. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, Amanda here to talk about the Lifesize Admin Console. Let's take a look at how to customize your Lifesize Phone HD. The Phone HD is the command center for the meeting room. Not only does it deliver unmatched audio, but it puts all the conferencing functions you need right at your fingertips. Search the directory, make and receive calls, adjust your camera. It's all done through the customizable touchscreen interface. Customization of the Phone HD is done through the Lifesize Admin Console. So, whether you have one system or 1,000, you're able to manage everything in one place. Click on Room Systems and you'll see a list of room systems paired to your account. If a room system is connected to a Phone HD, you'll see it in the controller column. Click on the Phone HD you want to modify to open the customization panel. Now you can customize the home screen wallpaper, layout, and time zones. There's even a preview so you can see your changes before you save. In the Wallpaper tab, you can customize the background using one of the images provided or by uploading your own file. Select Layout to define what buttons you want shown on the home screen. You can choose a 4-button layout with the date and time on the left or right, a 6-button layout, or an 8-button layout. Then, you can select which shortcut buttons appear, like camera controls or a custom speed dial for a frequently dialed contact. After selecting your buttons, you can easily move them around. Lastly, select time zones, where you can show up to 4 local times at the bottom of the display. Just toggle on a zone and open the drop-down menu to select a location. You can also give each time zone a custom name, such as the city where your headquarters is located. Once you've finished customizing your Phone HD, you can click Save to apply your changes. If you'd like to apply those changes to all of your Phone HD systems, just check the box below the preview before you click Save. To learn more about the Lifesize Admin Console, check out the other videos in this series, and be sure to follow us on social media for the latest features and updates. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, Amanda here to talk about the Lifesize Admin Console. Let's take a look at configuring single sign-on for your account. Single sign-on, or SSO, is a simple and secure approach that lets users access any number of enterprise apps with a single set of login credentials. If your Lifesize account includes SSO, you can configure the service to work with a supported identity provider, or IDP, using the Admin Console. To get started, click on Account Settings. Then click on SSO in the top navigation to open the Single Sign-On configuration page. Here is where you'll enter information from your identity provider. You can see fields that include the identity provider issuer, the login URL, and the X509 certificate, as well as SAML attribute mappings. Lifesize supports SSO using any SAML 2.0 compliant IDP framework, including Microsoft Azure, ADFS, and Okta. Full instructions for configuring settings for these providers are included in our online help documentation. Once you've entered your information, you can check your configuration against your IDP by clicking the Test button. A successful test will populate the relay state field, which you would then copy and paste into your IDP interface if required. Switch the toggle to On to enable SSO and click Update, and you are on your way to integrating Lifesize with your single sign-on provider. To learn more about the Admin Console, check out the other videos in this series, and be sure to follow us on social media for the latest features and updates. Thanks for watching.
There are several ways to make calls with the Lifesize app, but the first and arguably most prominently displayed way is by just clicking on the big Call button from the home screen. Here you'll be able to filter through your directory contacts, and as you type you'll see the list of contacts narrowed down to the best matches. But what if the person isn't in the directory, you ask? Well, you can always click here to bring up some helpful sample formats for calling others outside of your directory, either by their IP address and extension, video address, or Lifesize extension. Okay, so once you've selected your contact, you'll get the option to either start a call with your camera on or start a call with your camera off. And you can always do a pre-call camera and audio check to make sure that your camera is selected, you've got the right microphone, and make sure you're looking good before the call. Go ahead and remember these settings and start the call with my camera on. Alright, back to the home screen. So I mentioned there were several ways to make calls, and throughout the app, anytime you see a contact, you'll have the opportunity to make a call by just hovering over the name and clicking on the icon to call with your camera on, with your camera off, or to just send a chat. And that goes for the recent activity, your favorites, up here in the global search, as well as in your contacts directories. Easy, right? So what about receiving calls? Well, that's easy too. Just click answer whenever a call comes in. Alright, one final note. When you start up Lifesize in your browser, make sure that you allow access to your camera and your microphone. It makes making and receiving calls kind of difficult if the app can't access those settings. That covers the basics of making and receiving calls on Lifesize. Now go try it out. And if you're looking for more user tutorials, check for a link in the description where we'll cover everything from scheduling calls for later to setting up and using in-call moderator controls. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Lifesize makes it easy to just make a call by clicking on somebody's name in the directory. But it's just as easy to schedule a meeting for later. Start by clicking on the schedule button from the home screen. Now you'll need to decide where you want participants to call you. The first option is to just call you directly, but you can also pick a virtual meeting room. And the biggest difference there is a virtual meeting room can be set to start without you, whereas you'll have to physically answer people calling you directly. There's also some more advanced features with virtual meeting rooms, like moderator controls, but we'll cover that in a separate video. Okay, now that you have a location, how do you want to share it? Lifesize gives you the option to generate an email, a calendar invite, or to just copy the details for your scheduled meeting to your clipboard. Calendar invite sounds good, that way I can book people's time. The Lifesize app will use your default calendar app to generate the meeting invite, and this will give your guests all of the details they need to join you with their web browser, from their downloaded Lifesize app, from a meeting room system, or by phone. We have local dial-in numbers for over 60 countries just for audio conferencing. And these are the same details that would be used if I clicked email or if I copied the meeting invite to my clipboard. Now you can also schedule a meeting right from the directory. Clicking on the Virtual Meeting Rooms tab, you'll see that you're given the little schedule icon when you hover over a meeting room. And this just opens up the same meeting scheduler as before, but it just has the meeting room pre-selected. And that covers the basics of scheduling meetings on Lifesize. Check for a link in the description for more user tutorials for everything from navigating the home screen options to using the in-call moderator controls. And don't forget to subscribe to the Lifesize social media channels to stay up to date on all the latest news and product features from Lifesize. Welcome to the homepage of the Lifesize app. The homepage gives you easy access to just about everything you need. Front and center, you have two options to either make a call or schedule a call for later. On the right side of the home screen, you'll find a list of recently attended meetings and missed calls. Just hover over the activity for options to redial or call the person back both with or without your camera, or via chat. Heading down the page, you have quick access to your favorites. You can add anyone you want to your favorites, either a personal contact, a virtual meeting room, or even a conference room system. And again, this area has hover options to quickly call anyone you want with or without video, or even just sending a chat. Take note that at the top of the window, you always have access to the global search. Here you can just start typing, and the search will pull up the best contact matches, be it a person's name or a meeting room name. And again, it offers you that easy one-click calling right on hover state. Moving over to the left side of the app, you'll see you have navigation options for your chat messages, as well as directories broken down by user contacts, physical meeting room systems, and virtual meeting rooms. These are listed alphabetically and filterable to make it really easy to find who you want to connect with. A couple final notes: if you ever need to change your microphone or camera settings, just head over to your avatar in the top right. Here you can set your status, as well as modify your account settings for things like your camera, microphone, speaker, and language preferences. And if you ever need help, you can click on the little question mark to either kick off a guided tour or search through our help files. And lastly, if your company has Lifesize Record and Share enabled, you'll be able to quickly access the recordings from this button in the bottom right hand of the app. That'll open up the recordings feed. That wraps up our preview of the homepage of the Lifesize app. Be sure to check for a link in the description for a playlist of more getting started tutorials, and if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe for the latest and greatest from Lifesize. See you soon. Ever been on a call with someone that didn't realize they weren't on mute? Yeah, we have too. That's why we built moderator controls into the Lifesize app. Meeting moderators have more control over the meeting than other users or guests in the conference, and any Lifesize user can be a moderator. The role is first assigned when you create a virtual meeting room, but it can also be changed at any time just by editing the meeting options. By default, the person creating the meeting room gets all the power. It's only fair. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into our newly created meeting room. And as you know with Lifesize, you don't have to wait for others to join you with one of those long robotic numerical dial strings. You can always just add participants using the directory, like a civilized person. As a moderator, you have advanced in-call options for the call participants list. Here you can mute, unmute, or end the call for an individual participant, as well as mute or unmute all participants if you're feeling especially powerful. You of course have access to all of the in-call features you've come to expect as a Lifesize user. Muting your audio, turning off your camera, the ability to share your screen, and if Lifesize Record and Share has been enabled for your account, the ability to record the meeting. And when it's time to end the meeting, just select the hang up icon where you then have the option to either just leave the meeting and let everyone else carry on without you, or end the meeting for everyone on the call. We hope that this forever ends the annoyance of an oblivious meeting room participant. Hey, that wraps up our overview of Lifesize moderator controls. Be sure to check for a link in the description for more user tutorials, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media for the latest news and latest feature updates from Lifesize.
Good afternoon. I'm John Yarbrough from Lifesize. I'm here with two special guests. I have Lifesize founder and CEO Craig Malloy and Lifesize Chief Technology Officer Bobby Beckman here. How are you both doing today?
Great.
Yeah, great.
Good to hear. So before we get into the topic for today, let me first ask, how are you adjusting to work from home life? Are you drinking more coffee, more tea, lots of walks?
I bought bark collars for my two Labradors to keep things a little quiet. I have my adult daughters moved home out of their apartment, and I have two teenage girls living here as well. So there's lots of work from home and lots of school from home going on at the house, and a little bit too much dog barking.
I'll bet. What about you, Bobby?
Pretty much the same. I'm in what was our storage closet. It's basically a big room that was just holding stuff, and now I've pushed everything to one side, set up a desk, and you can't turn this camera around really in public. And same thing. I get the dogs barking, but I get to hang out with them a lot more. So I guess that's good. But yeah, it's been about the same.
Well, glad to hear you. Exactly. Yeah, we're relatively lucky to have such a great tool to connect with one another and with our customers. Which is a good segue into today's conversation, which is about video conferencing, privacy, and security. And Bobby, I'll start with you. There has been a tremendous amount of attention and focus on data privacy right now across our industry. What do you think is contributing to that?
I think it's like most technologies that get wide adoption, it hits a tipping point where all of a sudden, you start to pay attention to that piece of software you've installed on your computer or in your home. It's happened with every other social media technology. It could be Facebook, obviously, is a classic one, and all of a sudden, when you have tens of millions of new users of video conferencing, ultimately, you don't really think through it. When you have a CSO in your organization, they may be asking certain questions. When you have certain people in the enterprise, it's smaller scale, but when you're releasing it to kids around the world, people around the world just starting to use it, they're not really, they're not thinking through what happens, right? They're just clicking on a link and they're just using it, and they're not in. So eventually someone's going to start wondering what's going on with all of this data that's flying around and what's in that privacy policy. And I think it's too easy for the mainstream consumer to just click OK, I accept, instead of really wondering what's happening. And I think people are finally starting to realize it's worth wondering, because these are all very personal phone calls that are happening, right? These video calls are as personal as they can get, especially a time like this. This is our face-to-face interaction. So I think now people are wondering what's happening to the bits when they fly over the wire, and who owns them.
Right. And Craig, curious from your perspective, how much impact, regarding this privacy conversation that's taking place, in real time right now, do you think is, just because of coronavirus and this, this sudden work from home that seemingly is impacting literally everyone in the world, is this just a reflection of our current situation, or is this an issue that you think has been happening under the surface and is just now coming to sort of the mainstream because there's more scrutiny on it?
Yeah, these security issues that are being reported didn't happen last week because the usage went up. they've been there since day one. They just were they've just been discovered and brought to life. This is about something that happened because the usage went up 10x. Our usage has gone up 10x as well. I bet Microsoft Teams usage has gone up 10x. Nobody's hammering Microsoft or Lifesize for security breaches or lacks data security or privacy practices.
Right. Well, I mean, you just touched on it. There seems to be one specific provider that's getting the bulk of the attention right now, which is Zoom. And, there's been a widespread, number of media reports that have been broadly covered about, lax privacy policies, lax security practices. You've been in this industry for 25 years. You've started several video conferencing companies. What was your initial reaction when you started seeing these headlines pop up in your newsfeed?
Well, it's horrifying. I think it puts a bad light on on the industry that I've spent virtually my entire professional career after I got out of stopped being a Navy officer. Virtually my entire civilian professional career working in this industry, and it's awful what's happening here, and not necessary. It's not accidental. It's just. That's just who they are.
Bobby, one of the things I was curious about, as CTO, as somebody that literally is thinking about decisions on how we build features and how to balance things like ease of use versus other considerations. Zoom gets a tremendous amount of attention for being easy to use. And, as a video conferencing provider that competes with them, we obviously strive every day to be as easy for our customers to use as possible. Is there such a thing as being too easy? How do you, as a head of a large and growing development or global development team, balance ease of use versus things that are not, features, they're requirements like security and privacy considerations?
Well, I think, you take it, I don't know about too easy, right? I think you want to care about the customer, even, in this world, when you're an enterprise software company, you still have end users, consumers that are basically using your software. So we want the user to be able to know to have a great experience and to make it simple to use. I think the difference is in what's the culture behind how you build the software, right? So there's a lot of places where basically the teams like an order taker, right? They're being told implement this feature. They're given some set of requirements. And they do exactly what they were told to build, and it's one direction, right? So I feel like the way to build the right engineering team is for them to be able to say no, or maybe have you thought about this, or what do we do about this particular scenario? So our engineers are empowered to do that. We say like, yeah, this will make the user's experience better. But these are the problems that we're going to see if we do that. What are the other approaches we can take that will make this a better experience, but still keep them safe? We've done a lot of things for ease of use. So, I think you've used Lifesize for a while. It is easy to use. We run on the browser natively. We have great clients that make it simple to use. But at the same time, we've taken care to make sure that every feature we implement, we've thought through what the implications are.
Yeah. So I'll share my screen briefly here, and for those that are on the live stream today, I assume there's probably some familiarity what's being reported in the press. But for those that are not, just some of the specific issues that are being reported right now. On March 25th, there's an article about a surveillance feature in Zoom that was undercovered previously that allowed employers to track the attention of folks that are on a video conferencing call in a way that wasn't super apparent to the end user. On March 30th, a security researcher detailed a Mac OS exploit with Zoom's installer that circumvented typical Apple user consent pop-ups on the operating system. This was later compounded by a TechCrunch report that highlighted it's in fact possible to join Zoom via the web browser, like Lifesize and many others allow customers to do, but it was masked to the end user, sort of this desktop install software first or centric approach, which was another thing that caught the attention of security researchers. Again, one of the things that's been probably most broadly covered is this notion of Zoom bombing, where webinar presenters and classroom settings and other large group calls have been interrupted by individuals that are showing offensive, sometimes pornographic or racist materials during unprotected calls. There have been, additional complaints and concerns about methods that Zoom uses in their chat protocol that may be, at risk of people stealing Windows passwords and credentials. And, finally, there have been more regarding unintentionally leaking emails and personally identifiable information to strangers that register under some less common email registration domains. So, Craig, I'll come back to you for a second. That's a lot. That's a lot in a short period of time. We're talking about a week and a half. How much of this is fair criticism? Is there anything that you think is unfair with regards to issues that Zoom is facing? Is this, something that has to do with supporting a 10x growth and new customers all at once? Or is this truly something that is unique and needs to be scrutinized and considered at a deeper level by folks that are responsible for selecting these platforms on behalf of their businesses?
Well, I think every one of those is a real issue, and I don't see Zoom, disputing the validity of any of those issues. In the blog post from their founder Eric today, he basically said, well, we designed this for enterprise product. We had no idea all these, it's going to be used this broadly, and that's why all these issues are coming out. Well, that's just disingenuous BS. I mean, it has all of these same issues are there in an enterprise environment. It's I think, IT directors and people within business weren't, trusted Zoom to develop products in the same way as other enterprise vendors like Microsoft would do, or Google would do, or Oracle would do, or Lifesize would do. And they got, and what they found out was that's not the way that Zoom builds products. And I think his blog post was really, oh, I'm sorry we got caught. Oh, I'm sorry that more people are using it now. We're subjected to more scrutiny. Not that I think that's really what it was about, and it's disgusting, frankly.
Bobby, again, I'm sure your team has been watching this news cycle closely. To your knowledge, do any of these issues impact Lifesize or some of our other contemporaries? Are these industry-wide concerns, or is this more limited? Can you speak to what you and your team have been able to investigate thus far? Yeah,
none of these impact Lifesize, mostly for a couple of key reasons. One, you touched on that attendee tracking feature. We've had facial recognition demonstrations that we've gone out and shown to partners and some limited customers just to see, and pretty much instantly some percentage of people will freak out because you suddenly realize that you're doing something with that data that is questionable on whether or not you should be doing that, identifying them, figuring out what they're doing, and if the user doesn't know, that's even worse. So we haven't actually even rolled anything like that out into the product because we haven't really figured out what's the right way to manage privacy for our customers. When it looks at the other stuff, I mean, the thing that we do is we knew early on when we did this that WebRTC was really going to be a great technology to build video conferencing on, an industry standard that we can really build on and that is supported by the industry. So when you have Google supporting you, Microsoft supporting you, when we build our stuff, it's built with the same sort of software that it's basically uses Chrome as underpinnings. Teams uses it, Slack uses it. We all, a lot of companies use it, and so our stuff is out there and available for inspection, right? So all of our clients are open source. We don't, we don't have to worry about, did the engineers make a mistake? We watch ourselves, but at the same time, we're building on things that we hope that thousands of engineers are looking at, and if a fix happens there, we'll all get that fix. So really, if you're, if I'm installing software on my laptop, I feel a lot better if I know I have access to the source code. I know most people can't read it, but I know that there are people out there that can, and I think that's the big difference. And I think that's a reason why a lot of the things that impacted Zoom, even this is all this month, but a year ago when they were installing web servers on laptops or they weren't encrypting calls, All of those things were happening, and it wasn't malicious, right? It was just really, there was a product manager somewhere that said, hey, we really needed to launch this way. Engineer says, okay, I'm going to put this in. And there was no sort of other direction of this, like, okay, well, what happens to what can someone do to this thing? And no one's inspecting it because, the Zoom client's not open source. But when you see the other things that are, it's pretty straightforward. Anyone can figure out how we do things. It's not something we're trying to hide. Our goal is to provide the best experience using our entire service as a whole. But if I'm installing something on your computer, you should be able to inspect it and see what it does.
Yeah. Well, staying there for a minute with you, Bobby, generally speaking, what is our approach to customer data security and privacy? I mean, what do you as a CTO do to ensure that we are building capabilities correctly? You touched on, using open source code bases and being able to develop out in the open, which is, I'm sure, a huge component about it. But this sounds like a cultural thing. Can you build engineering culture around data security and privacy overnight, or is this something that takes time to create within an organization?
It takes longer than 90 days, I can tell you that. So it's not something you can just decide to instill in the organization. It's a top-down approach to how you build software. And again, it requires a bi-directional relationship, right? So the engineers have to be able to say no. Someone needs to be able to say no, we shouldn't do that. And you have to be able to listen to those folks that are actually building your software and learning from them. With our data, we're pretty careful. I think one interesting bit about ours is we do our best to not know what you're doing with our service. It's if you're doing a point-to-point call, we don't even see your media. It's fully encrypted. As much as possible. It doesn't even touch Lifesize services, right? Even when we do have to do a mixed call where we have media coming together, we don't. There's no storage of it. There's no way to inspect it. There's actually no way into the system for anyone to go look at a live call that's not supposed to be on it. I can't just poke into some customer's call and take a peek. We don't even give that to our support agents, which sometimes impacts our ability to support some customers, but the opportunity for abuse is significant. And obviously, we've done all the things with GDPR and all the right certifications to make sure that we're being good citizens with that. And if a customer asks us to get rid of their data, anything we have on them, obviously we respond quickly. So I think from top to bottom, I think we've taken a good approach to this, and I think just our track record kind of proves that.
Yeah. So Craig, one of the things that's been touched on as a theme in some of this press coverage and also discussions we're having with our partners and customers right now is the notion of enterprise-grade technologies versus consumer-grade technologies. From your vantage point, is that just marketing, or is there a substantive difference between consumer-grade tech and an enterprise-grade solution, as well as the expectations that folks that use those technologies should have of the provider?
I mean, I don't think there's any delineation on that anyway. And now, if you look at the way that Europe is reading its GDPR regs, security, data privacy is data privacy, and that employees at businesses are people. They're consumers. They're consumers as well. So it's disingenuous to say that if it's used in a consumer application, it has a different set of data privacy and security requirements than it does in a business. There's different concerns. Business has concerns about intellectual property being stolen. And consumers generally are more more concerned about their financial data or their being stolen. But it's the same issues, and products should be built the same way. And again, I think in many cases, businesses, enterprises, assume that Zoom is building software in the same way that other enterprise application vendors were building it, with the same culture of data privacy and security built in. Some of those certifications are actually self-certifying things, and it turns out that's not the case. That's just the culture they have, and frankly, it's embarrassing for our industry, and it bleeds over to everybody else who has spent years and years and years and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars building this new way to communicate over video communication.
Got it. So switching gears slightly, we have a couple questions from the audience that's watching live with us today that I wanted to switch to quickly. The first comes from Eric, who's watching the live stream and is a math professor that uses Zoom currently. And his question is, he says he has had a number of interruptions in class from non-students joining the video call and making inappropriate comments. And he's curious to know, Bobby, I'll turn to you for this. Is there anything that he could do to stop this, either on Lifesize or other solutions?
I mean, I think it's all about how you're distributing the. I mean, this is with anything. This could be any sort of group calling scenario. This is audio conferences had this problem forever. I mean, really, you need to separate how you're letting people in. There's giving people a link is one thing, and then giving people an access code, and it should be different. If you're just pasting the entire thing and sending it to everybody and not protecting it, and it's public, well then you're going to have a problem. I mean, I think one thing you get when you Zoom, if you're on the free plan, you only get one room with the same identifier no matter what. You can't change that identifier. So that means that you really only have that passcode, and if that gets out there, you kind of either have to recreate a new account or do something. With something like Lifesize, we have one-time meetings, right? So you create a meeting, it creates a single one-time URL, and then it goes away as soon as you use it, and then never comes back. And those are things that we get with our free account. So I think the thing to do is you have to treat all of these things like your phone number. And if you're going to give your phone number out to the whole world, then people may call it. So you have to treat it the same way, and you have to find a different way to secure it. So PIN codes, rotating meeting IDs, those are the simple approaches, and those are generally easy to do. I mean, they can certainly do them on Lifesize, no problem.
Yeah. Another question that was submitted, the person that's watching was curious what the worst case scenario is for some of these Zoom issues that are being reported in the media. I think what they're asking here is how serious are these issues, and is this something that organizations using Zoom need to take action on immediately, or is this something that is a possibility, but perhaps you're not at risk if you don't take action?
Well, I mean, so the worst case scenario is the 0-day exploit, right? The thing that no one knows. A year ago, I could sit in a coffee shop and listen to every and watch every Zoom meeting happening in the room, right? A year ago. We're not talking about like 5 years ago. And a year later, this is still happening, right? So culturally, nothing has changed, obviously. And so I think the issue there is you just don't know what's coming up. Just these are the things that we know about. But generally, if you've seen some of them, there's probably more behind them. It's unlikely that magically these are everything that's finished. So that's what I worry about. It's the 0-day stuff that no one publishes.
Another question that just got submitted, and Craig, I'll come to you for this one. Our viewer is asking if Lifesize plans to take the same approach as Zoom, who is currently giving away 30 to 45-day free trials. Can you speak to that?
We have actually, because at the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic, and knowing that, a lot of our customers and folks who weren't our customers were going to be now working from home, we immediately launched 2 initiatives. One for our paying customers, the ability to oversubscribe your users in an unlimited way for 6 months, because lots of our customers maybe didn't have an account for everybody who now is going to be working at home. So we just allowed our existing paying customers to completely oversubscribe their accounts and give that and provide that for free for the next 6 months. And then for people who are not our customers, and you can find this on our website, we have a free plan with a completely free plan with kind of unlimited usage, unlimited time meetings, one-time meetings, which creates a new meeting URL for every meeting, an unlimited usage plan for people to use that. So schools in Austin have been using that. Churches in Austin have been using that. My daughter's volleyball team has been using that to keep their keep their team dynamic together. In the last 3 weeks, we've had nearly 200,000 signups on our free plan. And I want to say that every bit of data privacy and data security and encryption culture and code that goes into the plans we sell to our largest enterprise is contained, in our free plan as well. And spelled out in the data, reaffirmation of our data privacy and security implementation that we just issued on our press release this morning. So we're proud to, as an organization, to be able to provide that free capability to people in need around the world. Both for our paying customers and then anybody else who wants to use it.
A couple of other questions that are coming in. One question is about our underlying business model and specifically differences between how Lifesize as a business makes money versus other competitors. I believe this is in reference to concerns around data being monetized or sold to third parties. Craig, could you speak to our data policies regarding sharing with third-party affiliates or others that are not part of Lifesize?
Yeah, we would never ever sell data to a third party or allow a third party to scrape it, like we did with Zoom and Facebook. And in fact, I think there's a class action lawsuit that was just launched against Zoom. Someone alleging that they shared their data with Facebook. We would never do that. Have never done that. It's called out in our privacy and security policy. Our business model is based on two things: paid users for that you would use on your mobile or your desktop, and then our conference room systems, which have equal hardware-based encryption contained in those devices. So our business model is completely around customers paying for the products and services that we deliver.
A few more, and thank you guys for the time this afternoon to have this conversation, which is obviously very timely and a lot of folks that are interested in this information. Question is, now that many of us are on video for a while, seemingly we'll be working from home for many more weeks, possibly even months. What other considerations should we all have regarding our choice of a video conferencing platform right now? Bobby, I'll start with you, and then Craig, maybe I'll turn to you as well.
I think if it's your first time joining, you just want to be able to get on there quick, right? You want to be able to easily be able to create an account, add users, and feel that they're going to be able to have no problem doing it, right? So having a browser-based solution is pretty awesome. So if you are just going to use Chrome, then you won't have to worry about downloading software. It works great on mobile. And I think for us, that's it. And you probably need a good webcam and a decent set of headphones that are noise canceling. Your probably quarantine buddies are. But that's kind of that's the main thing. I think it's just the other features are interesting that we offer, that all the providers offer, but really it's how quickly can I get this meeting going? How can I make it feel like I'm not losing any sort of momentum working from home?
I'll come at it from a little bit different perspective. I think, it's about the brand, and at the essence of every brand is really integrity. And it could be an integrity of whether it's what are the great brands now in the market, Apple or Peloton or Amazon. It's about the integrity, the expectation of what you're going to get, and with Lifesize, it's around data privacy and security, and customer support, customer obsession, scalability, quality. I mean, our traffic and on our service has gone up 10x as well, and we're getting and we've just had 150,000 free accounts created in the last 3 weeks. Yet, we're not besieged with with data privacy and security accusations. So I think you want to, with any purchase that you make, you want to think about the company that's standing behind it. again, this has been my life's work since 1994 around in video communication, and at Lifesize since 2003. This is who we are. This is what we do. And I'm embarrassed at what's happening to our industry, and one of the reasons we're having this session today is to set the record straight and state our position and how we do business here at conduct ourselves at Lifesize.
Another couple questions that came in that are relevant to one another. Question is, if I am a Zoom user, but I am not the decision maker for my organization regarding which video conferencing solution we use, what can I do about it? And even more to the point, what else is out there that's better? I think I can guess how you'll answer the second half, but Bobby, I'll start with you.
Obviously, I think Lifesize is a pretty good choice. It's there's nothing to stop. And this is not any different than Slack and many other companies. I mean, you can go create a Lifesize account for yourself and try it, right? And I think that is the simplest approach. You can create your own Lifesize account. You can have a meeting that can have all your folks you work with, have them join, and if you need it, it's there. And give it a try. And if you like it, just keep using it and let other folks know how it works for you. That's really how these things work. And I think that's probably the best thing we can do, but there's nothing to stop you from giving us a whirl.
Another question, Bobby or Craig, either of you can jump in here. This viewer is someone that uses Microsoft Teams and was curious if Lifesize can work in conjunction with Teams, or is it an either-or choice?
I'll let Bobby answer that, since he was the reigning champion and architect of our Teams integration.
Yeah, Teams is everywhere, and we think it's great. And actually, we use it at Lifesize. We built a really great integration where you can just use it. You use Teams for what you need to use Teams for, but as soon as you want to have a meeting like this, or bring some conferences in and have a more a bigger video call, then you do it this way. And I think this is you just go to your Teams bot, hit /Lifesize, bam, you have a meeting. It's easy to use, and it actually, because of the browser-based kind of stuff, you're not even installing more software. You just literally load up your Teams bot with the Lifesize or the Lifesize bot in the Teams, and off you go.
Well, thank you guys for the time. I have one final question. I'll come to you, Craig, for this one. As we begin to wrap up, could you just speak to the advice that you are giving to customers or partners or your network regarding what to do right now as they're balancing keeping their teams connected and trying to continue working as productively as possible with all of the challenges and now some of these new concerns being raised regarding video conferencing solutions? What parting thoughts would you give our audience and those that are reaching out to you as someone that's been in the industry for a long time?
That's a great question. And first, I'd like to apologize for the person with the weed trimmer outside my window. Apparently in Austin, Texas, that lawn service is still considered, lawn mowing is still considered an essential service. I can't get out of my house to take a walk, but the guys with the lawnmowers can show up. So if you hear the weed trimmer going in the background, that's what's going on there. So I apologize. That's one of the truisms of a video call. As soon as you do a video call, the person with the weed blower, the weed trimmer, is going to show up right outside the window. But this has actually been a really interesting experiment for me as well. I mean, although I've been running video communication companies for 25 years, I'm primarily a work in the office person. We live just a few miles from the office, and we go to the office. Most of us at Lifesize go to the office every day, and we built these great tools for people who do work from home or on the road, or in our other offices around the world. So this has been a real interesting challenge for me as well. I've been primarily used to using one of our room systems, and then if I'm traveling around the road, or if I need to take a call at home, I'll use our desktop or our mobile app. But now you can see I'm actually in my upstairs bedroom because there's so many people in the house. It's the quietest place. And I think you saw my wife duck in and grab something a few minutes ago. So this has been it's been a really interesting experience about being slammed into the work from home life and having to use our product day in and day out to conduct our business, to conduct our global business. And as you might know, we're in the process of merging with a cloud contact center company as well to expand our product portfolio. But I've been thrilled at how the quality and the scalability and the usefulness of these tools, and not just Lifesize. Obviously, I think we're the best by far, but video communication and remote working from generally, it can be done. It can be done very effectively. And I would, but I think one thing you need to do, and I was talking to our HR VP about this yesterday, and she put out a note to all our managers, is that when you do work from home and you're managing a team, you need to have your one-on-ones with your team every single week, because you don't see them walking down the hall or out of the parking garage or just have the sidebar conversations. You need to make a point to have your one-on-one meetings with your folks every single week. Just put it on the calendar. And then secondly, a group staff meeting with your team every single week or multiple times a week, or maybe a daily stand-up, to get that, to keep that culture, to keep that cohesiveness going. And so I've been trying to do that, do that a lot more. Even with my experience and long years in this, I'm learning some new things about how to use video communication well.
I think we're all learning together right now. Well, that's it for today. Bobby, Craig, thank you both for the time, and thanks to everyone who joined the live stream for their time and for the great questions. A recording of today's live stream will be available shortly, so make sure that you check back to Lifesize social media channels for that. And again, we appreciate it. Until next time, thank you both.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Craig Malloy, CEO and founder of Lifesize Communications here in Austin, Texas.
And hi, I'm John Lynch. I'm the CEO of Serenova, also headquartered here in Austin, Texas.
Lifesize is a video conferencing and meeting solutions company. We provide a SaaS-based software solution and conference room solution for professional organizations around the world.
Serenova is a global cloud contact center as a service solution. We offer our customers globally the ability to, through a web browser, scale up to thousands of users and scale out to as many as 54 countries.
Today I have some very exciting news to share. Lifesize and Serenova are merging to create the foundation of an industry-leading unified communications company. We're now going to be able to offer our customers a globally available, well-integrated, and unified approach to their workplace communication needs.
So over the last couple of years, our customers have been asking us for a true omni-channel experience natively in our stack. And today we're excited to announce the merger with Lifesize, adding video. Our customers are looking for improved and different ways to collaborate and share, solve problems, real life problems, whether it's field operations or telemedicine via video.
As a 25-year veteran of the video conferencing industry, I've seen many product and market transitions, and I'm really excited about this next phase of the market, which is really around unification of workplace communication tools and applications, and that's what really this merger is about, providing a much better, much simpler to use, more broadly available set of workplace communication tools, and we can't wait to get started and bring all this capability to life.
Today's an exciting day for Serenova, for our customers, for our employees, for our global partners, as we embark on this new journey with Lifesize and look to bring video and a better customer experience throughout the world.
This is just the first stage of our new journey together, and we look forward to sharing more exciting developments with you in the future.
Hey guys, Julian here, and today we're going to take a look at the Lifesize Outlook add-in for PCs, Macs, and Office 365. If you're like most Outlook users, you probably spend a good chunk of the day with your email client open, and the Lifesize Outlook add-in makes it easy to schedule Lifesize meetings without taking you out of that workflow. Let's take a look at how it works. You can download the Lifesize Outlook add-in from the Office 365 Add-ins Manager. Just follow the on-screen prompts to complete the install. When you open up Outlook, you'll see two new Lifesize icons for Schedule Meeting and Quick Invite. Schedule Meeting opens up your Lifesize directory and prompts you to choose a virtual meeting room for your meeting. You can select an existing VMR, create one on the spot, or just set the meeting to have attendees call you directly. If you'd like, you can even include a custom message to appear above your call details. Click Next and the add-in will generate a meeting invite with all of the details embedded. All you have to do is pick a date and time, add attendees like you would any other meeting, click Send, and you're set. Quick Invite uses our one-time meetings feature to automatically generate a one-time VMR for use during the meeting. One-time meetings are hidden from your directory and expire as soon as the meeting is ended. Perfect for non-recurring meetings or sending to a potential prospect for a sales demo. If your account isn't equipped with one-time meetings, the Quick Invite link will default to just calling you directly instead. The Lifesize Outlook add-in is just one of the great integrations that we offer for teams that have standardized across Microsoft tools for their email, calendaring, and real-time communication solutions. Check out our Office 365 and Exchange integrations for meeting room systems, and our Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business integrations for a better look at all the different ways that Lifesize can enhance your Microsoft solutions. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
At Lifesize, we combine an amazing cloud video conferencing service together with the industry-leading meeting room hardware, and that gives our customers the absolute best video quality experience for their business communications.
Lifesize is headquartered here in Austin, Texas, but about a quarter of the company works in one of the remote offices, spread out over 11 different countries or from home worldwide.
Throughout our history, we've been able to retain our startup culture, right? So that fast-paced, problem-solving, dynamic environment, that's what I like best about it, is that spirit.
Something that surprises people when I tell them that I work for Lifesize is just the amount of different things that I'm doing in a given day. I could be talking to customers one moment and then going and having a roadmap update with partners, then going into a brainstorming session with design. No 2 days are the same.
I think for me, the best part about working for a telecommunications company is you're always connected to your coworkers, even if they're thousands of miles away.
I love being a product manager because you get to be involved in bringing your product to life all the way from inception to launch and use in customers' hands. And a lot of people don't know that we build, design, and test all of our solutions in-house in our Austin headquarters.
Lifesize has absolutely given me the opportunity to grow here. I started as a contractor 5 years ago working on templated work, and through that I was able to hit every beat in my career that I wanted to see. So working on larger and larger campaigns, outdoor advertising, billboards here in Austin, and then the complete rebrand of Lifesize. And now I'm at a stage where I'm actually fostering the talents of young designers who are exactly the same position I was in 5 years ago.
The culture at Lifesize is to be customer obsessed. For being customer obsessed and being good at that, you first need to have very happy employee that have actually the enthusiasm of making all of this happen.
To me, a good culture is not defined by how many ping pong tables you have or foosball or whatever that is, even how many happy hours you have. While those things are cool and we have those things, it's more about the people. You can walk to any department on any floor and just have a genuine conversation about their life or their day or whatever it is.
One of the things that I'm most proud of is growing and expanding the Lifesize community outreach team. I started at Lifesize back in 2008 and started to do community outreach projects with just my small team, and since then have seen it grown into a company-wide endeavor through our wonderful culture crew.
I can walk down this hall and I might see the CFO and he'll walk by me and high-five me for the good week we had last week. Even the CEO actually works out in the open. They'll know about what our team is up to, so we'll have those conversations, but also we can say, hey, what were you up to this weekend? And to me, that's much more important to the culture.
Hey guys, we're back in the meeting room, and today we're going to take a look at how you can deploy digital signage throughout your office with Lifesize Share. Digital signage is a really great way to make use of all those screens around the office when they're not in use. Whether they're in the lobby or in your conference rooms, you can now automate displaying important messages on screen, thanks to our new integration with ScreenCloud. Digital signage is great for promoting internal programs like employee spotlights or open enrollment notifications, or even just scrolling through a series of helpful apps like a 7-day weather forecast. And it all starts with a Lifesize Share connected to your ScreenCloud account. Once connected, you simply add items to your content library to create rolling playlists for your screens. You can add your own custom images or slides, or pick from a growing collection of free apps designed to display news, weather, and social media feeds. You can use screens of different sizes and orientations, and you can even customize the signage layout to show multiple content sources at the same time. Inside the conference room, the Lifesize integration automates the switching back and forth between displaying the digital signage or switching over to your Lifesize conference room system. When your call starts, the digital signage moves to the background automatically, and when the call ends, it returns without having to change sources or interrupting your workflow. Now with the introduction of digital signage, Lifesize Share moves from a best-in-class wireless sharing device to a full meeting room automation solution. Hey, be sure to follow us on social media for all the latest product feature updates with Lifesize Share. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, we're back in the meeting room, and today we're going to take a look at how you can make any standard whiteboard part of your video conferencing experience with Lifesize Share. Whiteboarding works really well if you're in the room and you're sharing concepts and explaining ideas, but if you're calling in on video, sometimes you can feel a little left out. Often the camera has to be turned to awkward angles to view the whiteboard, and you still may only see the person's back. Even if you can see the board, you're usually scrambling to take notes or hoping that someone takes a photo with their phone just to share after the meeting. Thanks to our new Captivo camera system integration for Lifesize Share, you can make any whiteboard smart. Just mount the Captivo camera and control pad, pair it with Lifesize Share, and press the button to start sharing. It's really that easy. There's no additional training required and no downloads for anyone in the meeting to install. Just use your whiteboard as normal and everything you write will be captured and shared automatically. Captivo recognizes different colors and removes the person writing. It even gets rid of shadows and reflections and glare, and leaves you with a clean, sharp, accurate image that can be shared with anyone in the meeting in real time. And when the meeting's over, you have the option to save a timeline slide of the whiteboarding session that you could either save for later or share. Whiteboard sharing with Captivo and Lifesize Share is smart, secure, and super simple. Be sure to follow us on social media for more product and feature updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.